I never thought it would come to this, but when my landlord knocked on my door, I knew I was out of options. 3 months behind on rent, no way to pay, no one to turn to. And then, he made me an offer. An offer I should have refused, but I didn't. Before we start, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It only takes a second, but it helps the channel grow tremendously. I truly appreciate all your support. Now let's begin. I flinched at the knock. My robe had slipped open, exposing my bare thigh, but I was too exhausted to care. I opened the door. Mr. Harris stood there, eyes dragging over me, slow and deliberate. You're 3 months behind on rent, Julia. I pulled my robe tighter. I know, Mr. Harris. I just need more time. He stepped inside, shutting the door behind him. The air thickened. His gaze lingered. It's a shame to see a woman like you struggling, he murmured, his voice smooth. So beautiful yet so helpless. Heat crawled up my skin. I'll figure something out, he sighed, shaking his head. Time doesn't pay the bills, sweetheart. I had tried everything, extra shifts, borrowing, cutting back. Nothing was enough. Please, just a little longer, I whispered. He studied me, his eyes narrowing slightly. Or maybe there's another way. My stomach tightened. There it was, the unspoken offer now in the open. What do you mean? Come on, Julia, you know what I mean. The room felt smaller. My robe felt thinner. No one has to know, he said. Just between us. I hesitated, heart pounding. He smirked, watching me squirm. I can make your problems disappear. I exhaled shakily, no choices, no way out, just him. Slowly I nodded. His smile deepened. Good girl. Mr. Harris led me into the bedroom, his grip firm but unhurried. The air felt thick, pressing against my skin as I stepped inside. The scent of aftershave and something deeper, masculine, familiar filled my senses. He wasted no time. Standing at the edge of the bed, he undid his belt with a slow, deliberate motion. The soft clink of metal sent a shiver through me. You know what to do, sweetheart. A lump formed in my throat. I hesitated, my fingers tightening into fists at my sides. His lips curved into something between amusement and control. Don't act so surprised, Julia. You agreed, remember? Heat curled in my stomach, a nervous, electric kind of warmth. I swallowed hard, then lowered myself to my knees. His fingers threaded through my hair as I leaned in, feeling his heat, his scent overwhelming me. I pressed my lips against him, moving carefully. He exhaled sharply, his fingers tightening slightly, guiding me. The sounds he made sent an unexpected thrill through me. I shouldn't have liked it, but I did. His breathing deepened, his posture tensing. He was getting lost in it, in me. A strange sense of control stirred inside me. Just as I found my rhythm, he pulled away abruptly, his breathing uneven. He was barely holding back. Get on top, he said, his voice thick with need. I obeyed, standing and moving onto the bed. My robe slipped open as I straddled him. His hands immediately found my thighs, sliding up my skin, squeezing as if he needed to feel every inch of me. That's it, he murmured, eyes locked on mine. I reached down, aligning myself with him. A sharp gasp escaped my lips as I sank onto him. He groaned, his fingers pressing into my hips. You feel better than I imagined. I ignored the warmth that spread through me at his words. This was just a deal. But as I started to move, a deep pulse of pleasure rippled through me. My body betrayed me, responding eagerly, craving more. I bit my lip, keeping my face neutral, but inside heat coiled, a slow burn spreading with every movement. Go on, Julia. Ride me like you mean it. His voice was strained, his grip firm as he guided me. I did as he said, my pace quickening, my breathing uneven, each motion sending another wave of sensation through me, making it harder to pretend I wasn't enjoying this. He smirked up at me, as if he could see right through my act. You like this, he murmured. No, I lied, my breath hitching as I moved faster. His grip tightened, his body rising to meet mine in perfect rhythm. The tension built between us, growing deeper, heavier. I clenched my jaw, desperate to hold back any sound that might betray me. Keep going, he growled, his control slipping. His eyes never left mine, drinking in every movement, every unspoken reaction. I dug my nails into his chest, holding on. His pleasure built inside me, threatening to spill over. His breath hitched, his body tensing beneath me, and then with a final shudder he exhaled. His hands locked me in place as he reached his peak. I followed seconds later, my body trembling from the intensity. But I swallowed my moans, keeping my expression unreadable as I collapsed onto him, my body still humming. For a moment, we just lay there, our breathing heavy, skin damp and warm. Then slowly I moved off him, sitting at the edge of the bed. I didn't speak. I didn't need to, but deep down I knew the truth. I had enjoyed every second of it. And so did he. I sat at the edge of the bed, pulling my robe around me, though it did little to cover what had already been seen. My skin still tingled, my breath still unsteady. I felt his eyes on me watching, waiting. "You surprised me, Julia." His voice was smooth, amused. "Didn't expect you to enjoy yourself that much." Heat flickered in my stomach. I ignored it. "It was just a deal," I murmured. He chuckled. "Sure, if that's what you need to believe." Silence stretched between us. I should have felt ashamed, but I didn't. Not entirely. A part of me had liked it more than I wanted to admit. "I have another proposition for you." I glanced at him. "What do you mean?" He leaned against the headboard, his shirt still open, his expression unreadable. "You enjoyed this. I know you did. And there are men who'd pay good money for a woman like you." I stiffened. "You're joking." "Not at all." He watched me closely. "You said you're out of options, but you don't have to be. You could turn this into something lucrative." My breath hitched. "That's different. This was just." I stopped because I didn't have the words. "Just what?" His smirk deepened. "Just a favor, just for fun." I turned away, my mind racing. I should have been disgusted, but I wasn't. Because he was right. I had enjoyed it. And now the thought of doing it again, of being wanted, of being in control, of making something out of nothing, didn't seem impossible. "It's your choice," he said, standing up and buttoning his shirt. "You don't have to say yes. But if you do, I know 2 men who'd pay well for a night with you." A chill ran through me. Not just 1, 2. I swallowed hard. It should have been an easy no, but it wasn't. "How much?" His smirk widened. "More than you've ever made in one night." I exhaled slowly. My pulse hammered in my ears. 1 night, 2 men. A choice that could change everything. I lifted my chin and nodded. "All right." Mr. Harris grinned, reaching for his phone. "Good girl. I'll make the call." The next evening, I stood in front of the mirror, smoothing my dress over my hips. Tight, low cut, just revealing enough. Mr. Harris had picked it out himself, along with a pair of heels that made my legs look longer than I remembered. I barely recognized myself. My hands trembled slightly as I adjusted my hair. Why was I nervous? I had already made my choice. There was no turning back now. "You look perfect," Mr. Harris murmured from the doorway. His eyes roamed over me, slow and approving. "They'll love you." I swallowed hard, exhaling through my nose. "Who are they?" "Friends," he smirked. "Generous ones. You give them a good night, Julia, and you'll never have to worry about rent again." A knock at the door. My breath caught. "They're here." Mr. Harris's smirk deepened. "Showtime, sweetheart." I turned toward the door, my heart pounding as I reached for the handle. Then I opened it. 2 men stood there, eyes dark, expressions unreadable, and they were here for me. I led them into the room, my pulse pounding. Each step weighted with anticipation. My heels tapped softly against the floor, the air charged with an unspoken energy. They followed closely, their presence surrounding me. 2 sets of eyes. 2 men whose attention was solely on me. I had agreed to this. I wanted this. But still something inside me twisted. A flicker of hesitation, a spark of excitement. The taller one, broad-shouldered, confident in the way he carried himself, was the first to reach for me. His touch landed at my waist, firm, deliberate. His fingertips pressed lightly, as though committing every curve to memory. The other, leaner, sharper-eyed, quiet but intensely observant, lingered just behind, his breath warm against the back of my shoulder, sending an unexpected ripple down my spine. "Let's take care of this," the first murmured, his fingers brushing over the strap of my dress, teasing at the fabric as he met my gaze slowly. Layers slipped away, fabric falling with ease. Hands followed, exploring, learning, appreciating, as cool air kissed my skin. I reached forward in turn, my fingertips tracing the firm lines beneath their clothes, my touch testing their response. Their eyes never left me, watching, waiting. A slow exhale left my lips. There was no hesitation. I wanted to give them exactly what they were waiting for. I moved with careful intention, fingers working through the closures of their belts, undoing each one at a measured pace, feeling the tension coiled beneath the layers between us. Their breathing deepened, muscles shifting as I explored, warmth radiating against my touch. A quiet sound escaped the first man, a deep note of appreciation as he tilted my chin upward, meeting my gaze with something unreadable in his expression. "Just like that," he murmured, his voice smooth, edged with something darker. A familiar heat curled through me, something both exhilarating and dangerous in the way they watched me. My knees bent, movements deliberate. I lowered myself, fingers still wrapped around them both, warmth pressing against my skin. One hovered near my lips, a silent invitation waiting for my decision. I leaned in, welcoming him, tasting the heat, tracing the shape of him with deliberate care. Above me, he inhaled sharply, fingers weaving through my hair, guiding me with the lightest touch. The second man wasn't forgotten. My other hand worked him with just as much attention, teasing, drawing out each reaction. His breath hitched, his fingers brushing the curve of my jaw as he studied me, absorbed in every moment. Their combined presence, the quiet sounds they made, the tension winding through the space between us, sent a slow, deep warmth spreading through my stomach. "That's it," one of them murmured, his voice thick, heavy with satisfaction. Just like that. The words sent another rush through me. They let me move at my own pace, letting me explore, letting me lose myself in them. Then, one of them shifted back slightly, clearing his throat as though regaining focus. "Come here," he said, his voice low, steady. "We're just getting started." I settled onto the mattress, my breath uneven, my body thrumming with anticipation. The taller man positioned himself between my legs, his fingertips drawing slow, deliberate circles along my inner thighs, teasing, heightening the tension. The other moved beside me, his hand finding my chin, tilting my face toward him. His gaze locked onto mine with quiet intensity. "Let's see just how sweet you are," the first murmured, his voice deep, laced with amusement. Then he lowered himself, his breath warm against my skin, before the first flicker of sensation sent a shudder through me. A sharp gasp caught in my throat as his lips explored me, his touch slow, patient, deliberate. My fingers curled against the sheets, gripping them as each movement sent another ripple of sensation through me. The second man leaned in, his mouth brushing against mine before deepening the kiss, his lips parting against mine. I welcomed him, letting the warmth of him consume me, muffling the sounds escaping my throat as pleasure built between us. They moved in perfect rhythm, one unraveling me with his mouth, the other drawing me deeper into the kiss, his fingers threading through my hair, keeping me close. "Incredible," one of them murmured, his voice laced with admiration. I should have felt nervous. I should have hesitated, but I didn't. I wanted more, and they could see it. They moved me effortlessly, guiding me, shifting me into position, as if they already knew what I needed. Now I was on all fours, my body still trembling, still buzzing from their touch. The second man, the one who had been watching, waiting, patient until now, moved behind me, his hand steady on my waist, grounding me. "You ready for more?" he asked, his voice low, knowing. I barely had time to respond before he pressed forward, a slow, measured pressure that sent a deep, unrelenting warmth spiraling through me. My breath hitched, my fingers tightening against the sheets as my body adjusted to him. He groaned softly, his grip securing me in place, his movements steady, deliberate, as if savoring every moment. The first man stepped closer, his presence commanding yet gentle, and with a slow, deliberate motion, he brought his hand to my face. His fingertips brushed along the curve of my jaw, light as a whisper, coaxing my head upward until our eyes met. There was something intimate in the way he looked at me, like he was reading every unspoken word on my face. "Let me feel you," he murmured, his voice low and smooth, laced with a quiet hunger that sent a shiver down my spine. Without hesitation, I parted my lips in silent invitation, allowing him in. His warmth enveloped me, our bodies drawn together by an unseen current, the heat radiating from his skin fusing with mine. I could feel the rhythm of his breath aligning with mine, slow and deep, as though we were caught in the same pulse. His thumb traced the line of my cheek with reverent precision, and his other hand found its way into my hair, fingers threading through the strands with a possessive tenderness. Each movement was purposeful, syncing with the one behind me, who guided my body with equal care. They moved in perfect tandem, one anchoring me in place, the other drawing every ounce of my attention, keeping my eyes, my breath, my very being focused entirely on him. A quiet, involuntary moan escaped from my throat, a sound born of surrender and sensation. The moment it left me, I felt the man in front of me react. He inhaled sharply, the sound catching in his chest as his fingers pressed more firmly against my skin, grounding us in that electric moment where time seemed to still. Behind me, I felt the second man shift, his rhythm changing, becoming more fluid, more deliberate, like a tide gathering strength before sweeping across the shore. His movements drew another gasp from my lips, my breath catching as a rush of heat coiled low in my belly, spreading through me like wildfire. Every motion was purposeful, eliciting a reaction he knew he could summon with ease, and the warmth that bloomed within me pulled deeper, stirring something raw and undeniable. "You love this, don't you?" One of them murmured close to my ear, his voice rich with amusement, with certainty. It wasn't really a question, it was a knowing statement, steeped in teasing confidence that made my cheeks flush and my body tighten in response. His words curled around me like silk, impossible to ignore, and my only reply was a soft, helpless whimper. I couldn't hide the truth, not from them. My body had already given me away. Every shiver, every arch, every breathless sound was an admission. I did love this. I loved every second, every touch, every command that left me utterly at their mercy. But they weren't done with me, not yet. I felt hands beneath me, strong and sure, lifting and repositioning me with seamless coordination. I was weightless in their grasp, guided with precision and care, as they moved me into a new position, one that left me exposed and trembling with anticipation. Now I was on top, my knees sinking into the mattress, my body straddling his, perfectly aligned. The first man's hands settled on my hips, grounding me with firm, possessive pressure. His fingers curled into my skin, not to restrain but to claim, to hold me steady as the energy between us thrummed with intensity. Our eyes met, and in his gaze I saw it, that flicker of satisfaction, of hunger barely restrained. His lips curved ever so slightly, and he leaned in just enough to murmur, "Let me see how much you want this." His voice was a low command, velvet-edged and intimate, wrapping around me like a promise. His grip tightened just enough to anchor me, to remind me that I was exactly where they wanted me. I exhaled slowly, letting the air slip from my lungs as I began to lower myself onto him. The sensation was overwhelming, the slow, deliberate stretch, the fullness, the heat. My entire body shuddered as he filled me, the pressure building in delicious waves. My nails grazed his chest for balance, and his head fell back against the pillows, his jaw slackening as a groan escaped him, deep and rough. I began to move, finding a rhythm that matched the pounding of my heart. His hands remained on my hips, guiding me, urging me, grounding me in the present. Every brush of skin, every breath between us, was thick with desire and connection. And in that moment, I wasn't just giving in. I was taking what I wanted completely unashamed. But behind me, the second man wasn't finished, not even close. I sensed it before I felt it, a shift in his presence, a quiet patience that crackled with restrained energy. Then his touch came, light at first, almost ghostly, the pads of his fingers brushing along the small of my back. He explored slowly, deliberately, tracing the curve of my spine as if memorizing every inch, his touch teasing and unhurried. It wasn't just physical. It was a test, a question without words, asking if I was ready for more. A sharp breath escaped my lips, my body responding before my mind could catch up. A mix of anticipation and uncertainty curled in my stomach like a ribbon pulled taut, tinged with the thrill of surrender. There was a flicker of hesitation, yes, but it was fragile and fleeting, drowned beneath the deeper, undeniable ache of want. I wanted to feel everything, and they knew it. He leaned in close, his chest brushing against my back, his mouth just beside my ear. I could feel the heat of his breath, the low hum of his voice vibrating through me as he whispered, Take your time. I'll guide you through it. The words settled over me like a blanket, comforting, commanding, intimate. I exhaled slowly, letting the tension bleed from my muscles, letting myself yield to the moment. My body tensed, then adjusted, shifting gradually as he began to press forward, careful but sure. The heat between us spiked, sharp and molten. I felt him stretch me open, the sensation deep and intense. Every nerve drawn to the surface, every movement magnified. It wasn't just the physical, this was something else. A connection forged in the silence between heartbeats, in the way our bodies responded, moved. The moment lengthened, expanding around us, suspended in breath and pulse. Time slowed, and we sank into each other, into a rhythm that felt natural, necessary. That's it, someone groaned, the voice rough, frayed with pleasure. Just like that. I didn't know which of them had spoken. Maybe it didn't matter. I was too far gone, too consumed by the way they moved with me for me. Their hands were everywhere. One gripping my hips firmly, grounding me, the other caressing, encouraging, never straying too far. Their touches were opposites. One steady and anchoring, the other coaxing and exploratory. And together, they worked in perfect tandem, a balance of control and surrender, command and devotion. Every movement was deliberate, every shift sending new ripples through me. The pressure built slowly, no rush, no frenzy, just a steady, measured intensity that wrapped around me like a tide. It rolled through me in waves, tightening, cresting, pulling me closer and closer to the edge with each passing second. My breath came faster, shallower, every exhale laced with a moan or a gasp I couldn't hold back. The pleasure coiled inside me, wound tight and relentless, until I was trembling, caught between them, unable to think, only feel. Incredible, one of them murmured, his voice low and reverent, thick with awe and something deeper. Something raw and unfiltered that echoed the intensity of the moment. There was no pretense in his tone, only truth. Look at her, the other whispered behind me, his breath warm against my skin as his fingers traced the length of my spine with feather-light pressure. The simple touch sent a shiver racing through my entire body, my muscles tightening in response, helpless to stop the tremor that followed. There was a tenderness in the way he touched me, a kind of reverence that made my breath catch in my throat. I was utterly lost in it, drowning in sensation, swallowed whole by the pleasure that had built steadily, relentlessly, until there was nothing else. No thoughts, no doubts, just feeling, just them. My body was no longer mine to control, every nerve strung tight and trembling as that final wave crested. The tension within me drew taut, curled tight like a spring, and then release. It hit all at once, a final deep pull that unraveled me entirely. Warmth exploded through me, crashing in waves that stole my breath and left me weightless. My body shook, taken by it, consumed by it, as though I was coming apart only to be remade in that very moment. And then I felt it, a sharp inhale from beneath me. His fingers dug into my hips, pressing into my skin as his own body tensed, shuddering beneath mine. His rhythm faltered, breath hitching, as he reached his peak. A low, primal groan followed from behind me, rich and rough in my ear, as the second man clutched me tighter, grounding me while he let go, his release washing over him in sync with mine. The three of us stayed like that, suspended in time, the moment stretching out, breathless, endless. Our bodies remained intertwined, caught in the aftershocks of something both carnal and intimate. Then slowly, it began to fade, like the tide retreating from the shore, leaving warmth and silence in its wake. The room settled into stillness. The only sounds that remained were the gentle rise and fall of our breathing, sinking again, slower now, calmer. The air was thick with heat, with the unspoken, with the kind of silence that doesn't demand words, just understanding. In the end, I never expected to feel this way. I never expected to enjoy it, not like this. I certainly never expected to crave more. But now I can't stop thinking about it. About them. About how every part of me had responded so completely, so willingly. Something inside me had shifted, and I wasn't sure I could ever go back. So tell me, I whispered, my voice soft but sure. Was I wrong? Or was this exactly what I needed? Let me know in the comments. And if this stirred something in you. If you want more stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, thank you for staying with us. If you find it interesting and useful, please subscribe, like, and thanks.